My name is Huda Katibi. I'm the Communications Coordinator at CAIR-Chicago, and today, June 6th, the Chicago chapter of the Council on American-Islamic Relations, along with Anthony J. Peraica, thank you, and Associates, and Holland Knight will announce the City of Des Plaines and the Society of the American Bosnians and Herzegovinians have reached a just resolution over the proposed construction of a mosque in Des Plaines, Illinois. AIC is known as the American-Islamic Center, but now they go as SABAH, the Society of American Bosnians and Herzegovinans. They filed the lawsuit originally against the city of Des Plaines in September of 2013 after their zoning application was denied to build a mosque. And on February 26th, 2017, the United States District Court denied all of the motions for summary judgment and set a trial for August of 2017. And just a little over 4 months later, the City of Des Plaines and SABAH agreed to settle the litigation. First, we have Tony Peraica from Anthony Peraica Associates to speak.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming. My name is Tony Peraica from Peraica Associates, and also with me today is Jennifer Hill, our senior associate who worked on this case along with others at the office, but was principally in charge of handling the discovery and litigation up to the point of settlement. We are pleased to announce today that the City of Des Plaines has agreed to settle this case with our client, American-Islamic Center, now SABAH, and has agreed to make some substantial changes in their operation, both presently as well as going into the future, both with present management and employees and elected officials, as well as going into the future based on their signature to the consent decree that the Department of Justice has worked out with the City of Des Plaines. This settlement brings a culmination, a 4-year period of litigation. We filed this case in, I believe, September of 2013. So 4 years later, we are finally at the stage where the members of AIC or SABAH can stop worrying and thinking about this situation. They led a nomadic existence for a number of years because they had no home as a result of actions by the City of Des Plaines. They had to rent space, they had to make other arrangements, they spent lots of time and money fighting this case to prove a simple point, that the exercise of religion in the United States, any religion, is protected, is something that cannot be lightly treated by any government unit unless there is a huge overriding interest in opposition to a zoning map amendment like it was in this case. And we have proved to Judge Cannelli in this matter, who denied the motion for summary judgment, that in fact there was no such overriding interest, that this was simply done as an excuse or a pretext. So I believe last night, although I wasn't at the meeting of the City Council of Des Plaines, I believe they approved not only the Justice Department consent decree, but also a settlement agreement with our clients, AIC, American-Islamic Center, now SABAH, and have agreed to pay a sum of $580,000, almost $600,000 to settle with our clients for the damages that they incurred over the last 4 years because of the denial, wrongful denial we maintain of the zoning map amendment. So with that, I will allow others to make their comments and be happy to answer any questions.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ahmed Rahab, A-H-M-E-D. R-E-H-A-B. I'm the Executive Director of the Council on American-Islamic Relations, known as CAIR-Chicago, who, along with Peraica Associates, worked on this case. And I want to thank our lead litigation attorney, Phil Robertson, who's behind me. And I want to thank Tony Peraica and Peraica Associates and Jennifer for your amazing work and everybody that came together to really stand up for freedom of religion. This is what this is about. I also want to thank the City of Des Plaines for getting to this point where a just settlement has now moved us forward, where a community that has endured much over the last 4 years can finally put their heads together to build their future knowing that this is behind them. To me, this is a positive and good day for freedom of religion, and it could not have happened had not people who believe in freedom of religion risen to stand with this community, and had not the city of Des Plaines understood the importance of freedom of religion and reached this settlement along with our client. So we're thankful to have gotten to this point, and we are prepared to move forward and hope that in other places this sends a message that America is a pluralistic society. We've seen too many cases of denials of zoning permits. We're talking about a particular case here, but if you want to talk about the larger picture, this is one of many, or has been one of many. So I'm hoping that it sends a positive message that we can sit at a table and figure things out. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Billy Lyman. I'm here on behalf of Holland Knight, and I'm standing in the stead of General Counsel for the City of Des Plaines and my colleague at Holland Knight, Peter Friedman. I want to thank everyone for their comments this afternoon, and I just want to say on behalf of the city, we're very pleased that all the parties were able to form an agreement and enter into this settlement agreement. To the extent there are any questions, Peter is very happy to answer any of those questions, and I have contact information for him for you guys to call him, and he stands at the ready to answer any and all questions that you guys may have. Thank you.
Did you want to say anything?
Yeah. Phil Robertson, Litigation Director at CAIR-Chicago. Just very pleased to have had the opportunity to work with the city and get together and come up with this settlement agreement. We believe that it's a forward-looking settlement. We believe that there is a lot of positive steps that are being provided to the residents of Des Plaines and the Muslim community as well that will reap benefits down the road in the future for both communities. So we think that it's a very positive step in the right direction, and we're looking forward to having SABAH continue to move forward and grow and prosper with its membership. Thank you.
I do want to add just a couple words about the community that is at the heart of this story, because I wouldn't want this to be impersonal. This is about human beings, and it is about their yearning to practice their religion freely in their adopted homeland. This is a community of mostly refugees and political asylees, as well as immigrants from a part of the world in which Muslims faced persecution and certain death and destruction as a result of their religion. In the former Yugoslavia, when the war broke out, many of them left to find a place, to find a home where they can be safe, secure, and practice their religion freely. They're proud to call America home. They're led by an Imam Sanad Ajic, who is, in my opinion, an interfaith leader in this city, who has extended himself to all faith communities, who back in the day when he was imam of another mosque had opened his mosque to a Jewish community when their synagogue was undergoing renovation without them asking. This was unsolicited, and they returned the favor in kind. This is the kind of leader that this community has. So we're really very happy to have reached this point, and for them to be able to look forward rather than backwards, and to feel that they belong, because they do belong. Thank you. At this point, we can take questions from anybody, if you have them.
The settlement agreement, was there any admission of liability on the part of the city? Anything specific?
There was a denial of liability, but I believe if you're interested in the details as to liability, the PACER, Federal Court System Public Record, provides ample documentation that
Has it been filed?
the settlement has not been filed, but the briefings on the both motion to dismiss and motion for summary judgment contain lots of detailed information as to liability and why we believe, as the Judge Cannelli ultimately agreed with us, there was improper conduct here. So it's part of the record.
Where are they now, and where will they be located in the future pursuant to the settlement?
The members of the American-Islamic Council, now Society of American Bosnian and Herzegovinians, is homed in Franklin Park. They bought a Lutheran church, a congregation that was dwindling and was ready to move on. And they purchased an old church there on Grand Avenue, just east of Mannheim Road. and that's where they're housed now, to have prayer services. They're going to have community outreach to the homeless and the hungry. They're going to have school for the youngsters and all of the other traditional faith activities that take place. But they were also forced to change the name because with a name like American-Islamic Center, they didn't want to go into Franklin Park facing the same situation. So it's been a long, long, hard journey for these folks who have, as was stated, undergone persecution and exile from their homes in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and to come to the United States and face the kind of hostility, which was a minority of the people, I must say, having been with them since day one when this started. It's been a minority of the people who have engaged in that kind of overtly disagreeable and sometimes hostile conduct. But the council voted as it did. We felt it was inappropriate. We took action, and we proved that we were correct.
And when did that move take place?
They purchased that building last year, I believe, in September, October of last year. Interestingly, the building that was to be purchased by AIC on Birchwood Avenue was sold for $300,000 less than they were willing to pay for it to a developer who then went to get a 6B classification based on the vacancy of the property, and got a 50% reduction on the real estate taxes that will be paid to all governmental entities for 12 years. So the city lost on all counts, and the owner of that property lost, a buyer who would have paid significantly more for it. So it's a trail of losses throughout here. But today, it's done.
Has the money been paid out yet, or is that yet to happen?
My understanding is that the City Council last night approved, whether in executive or public session. This is, again, a governmental unit, so it will be public at some point. But we were under a court order by Judge Kim, Federal Judge Kim, not to speak about the amount until the press conference today. So that's what we did or did not do. Anyone who submits a FOIA will be able to find the information, and that's what the information is. The settlement agreement will remain private between the parties, but in essence, that is what it's about.
How many members does this group have right now?
There are approximately 200 or 210 families right now who are part of SABAH. So that will be, I would say, somewhere around perhaps 300-400 people, including children, altogether. Their typical services are between 100 and 150 individuals who attend regular weekly religious services.
Was there anything about this case as far as the zoning goes that was maybe unusual compared to other cases? You said that this has happened in other communities, but anything about this one that stuck out as far as why you pursued this one so vigorously and got the result that you did?
I think so. This was a M3, or manufacturing district, that was under the Des Plaines 10-year master plan, scheduled for downzoning to institutional or even lower zoning, so that it was under the Des Plaines master plan ready to be downzoned from manufacturing industrial to residential and other institutional uses. The Plan Commission of Des Plaines, interestingly, supported the plan of AIC's proposal to open a mosque and cultural center there unanimously, because it was in keeping with all of the requirements that City of Des Plaines proposed. And then when it came before the City Council for a vote, and I was present at that public meeting, there was clearly hostility and opposition to the fact, to the point where some of the aldermen, in fact, said publicly, why are you people here? Why don't you go somewhere else? You're not wanted here. Something to that effect. It's been a while. But clearly hostile remarks that had nothing to do with parking or traffic safety or anything with the details of what would go normally into a zoning map amendment, but this was clearly a a small group of individuals who were hostile to persons just because they were Muslim and were practicing their faith. That's the way we felt then, and that's the way I feel now.
In what ways do you hope that this will set a precedent for other cities in similar circumstances?
Question to me? Well, thanks to your presence here and others who have followed this case for 4 years, I think that the resolution of this case, which not only compensates SABAH, or formerly AIC, financially for their losses and attorneys' fees and costs and all of the other things, you know, opinion witnesses cost a lot of money. But also, with the consent decree, it sends a message to all governmental units that disparate, even discriminatory treatment on some occasions is not going to be tolerated and will be challenged. It will be challenged under the appropriate federal and state statutes and the state and federal constitutions, and that those who engage in that type of conduct will be held accountable. And we hope that the residents of those communities who think about that kind of conduct, or elected officials who think about that conduct, will realize the harm that they're doing to themselves and to their taxpayers, who are ultimately going to get stuck with the bill. So there's a strong financial motive or message that the governmental units need to take into account, that if they do this, it's going to cost them and their taxpayers lots of money.
If I may add to that, this is ultimately about the reality that American Muslims are part of the American fabric. Their institutions of worship are no different than churches or synagogues. And that if there are any individuals, whether they are part of a local government or neighbors or involved in any other way, who want to further the notion that it's us versus them, it's we versus the other, we will challenge that. I hope that this is the last case that we will be working on for a very long time, if not forever. It's not the first, I'll tell you that. It's not the first such case that CAIR-Chicago has been involved in, but I do hope it's the last. But the message that we want to send out there is, we hope that there be a deeper understanding, and that these situations won't begin to, won't happen to begin with, but if they do, that everybody out there understands that we will challenge it. We will not sit back and watch it happen. We will challenge it legally and hope to get a just resolution.
Jen?
Please do.
I think we all share in the sentiment that this was a peaceful settlement that was gained by both parties, and we're very thankful that this comes during SABAH's Ramadan, where they can now focus on their faith and their community instead of litigation.
Yeah, some of the members and board members wanted to be here, but because they are fasting, they got up early this morning and were fasting all day, engaged in prayer services. They unfortunately could not be with us to answer any questions that you might have, but they send their regards and kind wishes to all.
All right, I want to thank you all for being here and for reporting on this story. Thank you and have a great day.